looking back, I think that the one piece of advice that I would give myself is to trust your instincts. Something that I learned playing basketball on a league when I was a kid, to my involvement in science, that oftentimes we think of ourselves as not being smart enough, not being good enough, not being as well informed as we could be, and let other meager thinkers dominate the dialogue. I think that we have to recognize that our cognitive capabilities combined with our visceral instincts, keeping in mind that only 1/1 millionth of the sensory input from our body makes its way to consciousness, that we have an intuitive sense that's combined with a cognitive sense that's truly informative. So stand up for your ideas, push them forward, and have a sense of confidence that could change the world. I think that a question that prevails all of humanity today is if AI should be created in the vision of man. And that's just such a deep, interesting question. It's biblical, right? It feels like it comes from the Bible, that God created man in his image. And somehow that is either a challenge or a commandment. And I don't think that's right. I think that AI is fundamentally different. And it will have similarities, but oftentimes those similarities are accidents of language and not truly technological correlates that somehow advance the process, either for technology, even with humanity. So I think the answer is technology is a new beast. I think that AI is a new dynamic. And while there may be similarities, it is a new dynamic and has to be treated that way. It's such an interesting question, right? Look, I think that AI has consciousness. These large language models have an element of techno-consciousness that might be analogous to a human consciousness, but it's fundamentally something quite different, I believe. And maybe it's time to recast that perspective a little bit. So here's an interesting question. In the context of an exam room or a hospital, who's the smartest person in the room? Throughout history, that's been a very, very simple answer. It's the doctor. It's the physician. And that's supported by a cognitive construct. It's supported by academia. It's supported by education. It's supported by a lot of things, including a little bit of psychopathology, that the physician who wears the stethoscope around his or her shoulders wears it as a badge of honor, as a badge of identity. But what we're seeing in the world today is the smartest person in the room very well may not be the physician. It just might be the computer.